is sometimes the requirements for a new building are going to be a little different than an existing building. And through this process, we found out that converting it as a snack bar is a whole different ballgame than putting the building up as storage. And the concern that kept on coming back, or the issues coming back to me is, if we pull the permits and we do the work, then it's on us. Now, I can lease the building out to someone and they'll be required, they'll be the responsible party for getting the health permits and those kinds of things. But if something goes wrong, if a change has to be made, it's our name that's on there. That's the perfect example of how we've gone away from that with Dennis Fong. In his agreement, it basically says, we're releasing a facility to you. If you decide to do something different, you're the responsible party for all the permits, all the requirements, and that's what you went through before I got here, and we went through for a while since I've been here. The cost was astronomical in the sense of it's an extra $2,500 to $3,000 for just the permits and all the other types of things. And then it was a delay in the process, and this is where we hit a snag, is that the original, going back prior to me, when it was first brought to the county, it said snack bar on it. And that title followed this project all the way through the process. And when we got right to the end, when the inspector came out, he said snack bar. Well, this isn't going to pass as a snack bar. And that's what kind of made this thing kind of fall apart. We made the decision, a conscious decision, that one, building needed to be put up. Two, it's mainly a storage facility. And three, we have a new piece that's come into play that wasn't here prior to that building burned down. As you know, Antelope Little League for many years has used that facility, mainly the baseball field, but they used the old building for some storage, and they used the snack bar as a seasonal snack bar, part of the building for snack bar. Since that time, we have found out, and let me go back a little. Antelope Little League, they're required to give us all the addresses of where the kids live that play in the program. Of all the kids who played in the Antelope Little League program, only 2 lived in North Highlands. That was a concern. The concern kind of magnified further when we found out that a new Little League program, a Little League affiliated program, was starting in North Highlands. These would be North Highlands kids. And Scott, poor guy, was in the middle of negotiations with Antelope Little League for a 5-year agreement, because we thought that if they were going to invest into the interior improvements of the building, they got to prorate that cost over a period of time for it to make sense for them. Well, as soon as we found this Antelope Little League was coming through, my first thought was, and I shared it with a couple of you, I believe, if the North Highlands Little League is successful, and we believe it's going to be, it's a matter of time before they come before this board and say that we're taxpayers in this district, we pay for that facility. A non-North Highlands group should not be given a priority over it. So that's when my thinking came around that maybe we should do a 1-year agreement with Antelope Little League to we get this building done, and we see if North Highlands Little League is going to be successful. Well, we did sign a 1-year agreement with Antelope Little League, and in that agreement, and I made Scott go through, we double checked it. There's no mention of that building being used for snack bar, for storage, and the field use. They get it just like they always have. And last year they didn't have a building to use. They used an alternative for that building for a snack bar. We believe that's a prudent position to take, because I have little doubt, based on past history, that if a local group is going to grow some roots in the community for a program, they're going to come and want to use the facilities that are in this community. It has nothing to do with Antelope Little League. We think they're a wonderful program, and while they haven't served our community by numbers, you know, they've been a long-time tenant of the district. So I'm not asking the board to take any action, again, because there is no agreement with Antelope Little League to allow them to use it as a snack bar. And I will immediately get back to the Antelope Little League to clarify, so there's no question about this, because they've already seen the foundation being poured, so they know a building's coming in. To remind them that you are getting this building for this 1 year for storage. Then at the end of the year, we'll have to evaluate. We'll have to meet with both Little Leagues to find out where they're at. Because we know, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, that the new Little League is using kind of inferior fields. They got whatever they could to start the program off. Well, you got a nice baseball diamond sitting out there. And I think it's just a matter of time before they come before us and say, we'd like to use it. So what I'm sharing with the board this evening is our plan is we're not trying to penalize Little League, but Antelope Little League. I would hate to let them go ahead and go through the process and spend the money to convert it into a snack bar facility, only for us to jerk it off and turn around and say, you can't have it after next year. Thank you very much. I think we have every TV station and radio station sitting in our parking lot at the next board meeting, and it would be uncomfortable for everybody. And I've always tried to make a point to be upfront and honest with them through the whole process. And they know that there's another Little League in town. They know that. But at this point, we have a 1-year agreement. When the building's ready, after we finish all the interior improvements, we'll be happy to let them use it for storage. They have the field. There's no question about it. They have the field. Like I said, they made accommodations for snack bar use last year, and we didn't hear one complaint about whatever it is they did. And whoever comes forward, either one of the 2 leagues or a third party if there is one, next year and says we'd like to use it for a snack bar, we would be willing to sit down with them and say, this is what you're going to have to do. This is what's in front of you. Think about that as you look at alternatives to save yourself some money and time. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what I'm presenting to the board is letting the board know that we are trying to take a very cautious position, not to overextend ourselves and put the district in a situation where it's going to be very uncomfortable. And so again, we have a contract in place, so it's not like we have to go back and rewrite the contract.
Right. I guess I have one question. You said that currently, I think you said there are 2 families residing in North Highlands. Now,
Last year.
last year, right. But now there is a good chunk of the district that has an Antelope address. Did we look at that, or just look at North Highlands addresses?
We actually had Terry. She's pretty savvy when it comes to knowing where addresses lay.
Okay. Because remember, you have 2 board members that have Antelope addresses that are on.
She did factor that in.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. And they know that. We brought that to their attention, and they didn't question it.
I just wanted to bring that up, just if they say, well, yeah, but you didn't pick up these also.
Sure.
Because, you get over by Spinelli, there's a lot.
And, Little League districting is they're pretty strict about, where kids live and which programs they can play in. I mean, it's not a surprise that the bulk of them are Antelope kids because,
sure, right.
That's the charter. It's an Antelope program. But the fact that we don't have an awful lot of resident kids participating is a
And that Little League program is at as you know, the far edge of our boundary.
Right.
No matter who is using that facility, it's going to still be at the far edge of the boundary. Right. Not much we can do about that.
Either way. Yeah.
But again, they were comfortable. Little League was comfortable signing a 1-year agreement. I'm sure they would like a longer one, but I think they understand the position that we as a district need to wait till the end of the season and see how the other Little League program goes. And again, I'm no doubt the staff will sit down with both programs, and so we get a really clear understanding about what this season looked like, because we don't have the rosters yet.
Yeah, just through the Yeah, just one comment on you said districting for where you live. See, the soccer program that I was, which I still am tied to a little bit, you can live anywhere and come to the program, so it's a little different. My daughter did play, and I'm not even sure which one she played up there, but she did play at that field when she was real little. So, speaking of soccer, while I think of it off topic, is anybody using Brock for soccer? Because there was a team out there practicing.
No one's permitted to use it.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. I didn't think
kids or adults.
They look like kids, adult coaches. I mean, a team, because it was set up with, as I was going by, would look like 2 or 3 adults and a bunch of kids.
Probably about venues.
Okay.
We'll keep an eye on it if it's starting to cause any kind of wear and tear.
Right, and that's what I was concerned.
And the Brock baseball group will be starting up soon as well. So that'll kind of
push them out.
Push them out. Yeah.
This was about probably 4:30, 4:45 yesterday afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into it.
All right.
So anybody have any questions? Yeah, I do have 2 questions to Scott, and then a quick question to Larry. Scott, how many children participate in the Antelope Little League? Do you know by chance?
I don't know what their total numbers are. The group the age group that uses the field at capehart, it's around 120.
Okay. Does the new North Highlands League have any anticipation of how big their program will be? Yeah.
You know, it's hard to say because it is a brand new charter, brand new group. I know based on their price points, they are significantly less than other Little League groups in the area, and I think probably purposely so, they can try to generate some interest. I can tell you the Pony group, Pony is an acronym for Protect Our Nation's Youth, that uses Brock Park. Their numbers have gone down recently, but have held steady at probably between 50 and 100. So I don't know if that's a benchmark that we can compare the Little League group to, but they'll probably try to grow from the young grade groups, the T-ball program,
Sure.
coach pitch, and then kind of grow from there.
Okay. And then one general question for Larry, and Brother Monk kind of brought it up when we were looking at the foundation plans. When one of the Little Leagues goes to transform that storage unit into a snack bar, are there underground utilities in that foundation for them
Yeah,
to do that conversion?
we
didn't see that quick look.
Yeah, we plumbed it, we put a drain in. We also have, the plans that were approved is to put extensive electrical at the end where the Little League had mentioned that where they normally put the snack bar at. So it had, we're putting the basics in, and that'll be there, whoever uses it for whatever purpose, and maybe a little bit more so where the quote snack bar would go.
Okay.
But yeah, because once that foundation's in, we don't want them in there jackhammering. But
Everyone's going to run overhead or something.
But again, if I'm repetitive, I apologize. But even at the end of this year, it doesn't mean that Antelope Little League can't use the facility. We just need to. We think it's smart, since we know a new startup league that is focusing on North Highlands kids. We need to give that a chance to see where it goes first. And I'll make sure that Antelope Little League understands that, a one-year agreement doesn't mean that that's the end of their using it. It just means at the end of the year, it gives us ability to kind of look at things with fresh eyes. And again, it gives us one new Little League a chance to see how they did after 1 year. Maybe it folds, who knows?
Yeah, well, I remember, I don't know how long ago it was now. I don't know who was on the board with me, but we had competing groups in here. We had almost standing room only.
Well, and I know North Natomas is severely impacted, like they are beyond maxed out, so, and I'm sure people are crossing boundaries because there hasn't been.
Right.
So hopefully it is.
Yeah, one more, sorry, these things are popping in my head as I'm hearing the conversation. It's not a focus of ours, but it's certainly something we have to look at. As we look at making the interior improvements to the building, we get, as Scott says, far less than $1,000 from Antelope Little League and annual lease payments. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for our district to come in and put a lot of interior improvements that are specific for one group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even though somebody may say, well, that's insurance money, well, no, that's our money. Through, and so, I think in many ways it's better to provide almost that shell, although whoever is using it is going to get more than a shell. The building has a divider in it to separate the snack bar. There is a little umpire's room in the back that's got 4 walls and a door, or 2 walls and a door, so they can do whatever they need to do. And so we've taken a lot of Antelope Little League's ideas to make sure that in the event it is going to be used in the future, the important things, the electrical, the plumbing, and those kind of things are already there. And you just have to modify your use to what's there. I was just concerned about, when I'm hearing Antelope Little League talk about, well, we want 2 single